Zaporizhian March is an expressive Ukrainian folk musical art that was preserved and revived by bandurist Yevhen Adamtsevych. The march became more famous after its transformation by Viktor Hutsal, who merged the march with the folk song about Doroshenko and Sahaidachny. Authenticity. It is widely accepted that the author of the famous Zaporizhian March alone is the Romney-Kobzar Yevhen Adamtsevych, a student of Musery Alexeyenko. In particular, it is confirmed and through correspondence of the known researcher of Kobzar performance O. Pravdyak with the bandurist. In one letter to him, Yevhen Alexandrovich wrote, "In addition, the Yevhen Adamtsevych first performed it in public. To the general public, march became known in 1969 thanks to the performance of the blind bandurist. Subsequently, the march for orchestra was arranged by the chief conductor of the State Orchestra of National Instruments, Viktor Hutsal. The main theme of the composition consists of syncopation and descending melodies which in the technique national bandurists played with fingers, sliding on the strings, that was first used by a bandura player Yevhen Adamtsevych in instrumental accompaniment for his composition of folk song about Wasyl, which he orchestrated in 1930. Myths regarding the origin of the work. According to some assumptions, this work has been in the repertoire of teachers of Yevhen Adamtsevych. P. Oremenko, a respected expert on creativity and heritage of the artist's performance, believed that this march was co-authored with Musery Alexeyenko, and that the learning student picked up the first part of march from his teacher and further continued the melody creation. This, in particular, is according to the memoirs of M. Alexeyenko children. Also, some sources mention Prokop Mormalia, a native talent from the village Yaduty, Borzna Ryan, Chernihiv Oblast, whom Yevhen Adamtsevych visited. According to a legend, the Zaporizhian March was written by Ludwig von Beethoven on the request of Hetman Kyrylo Rozumovsky. Viktor Hutsal on the subject mentioned. Then Hutsal not intervened in the debate, but stated with pleasure the assumption of his random acquaintance. History. At first Yevhen Adamtsevych performed the march publicly in 1969 at a concert in the Kiev Opera Theatre of Taras Shevchenko. Eyewitnesses described the concert so: Yevhen Adamtsevych performed the march very expressively, vigorously, putting all his skills and emotional imagery, but the fact that he played by pinching lacked sonority. The conductor of state orchestral Viktor Hutsal recollected. On April 12, 1970, the orchestra performed the remake of the march at first. The artistic director and conductor Yakovlev repeated the piece bis several times. Thus, until 1974, the Zaporizhian March was performed at all concerts several times. The public always welcomed musicians standing. The composition became more famous after it was included in the soundtrack of the Boris Ivchenko film Propala Ramota in 1972. After performing the march at the Bolshoi Theatre, it became an interest of party leaders who worried about a very heightened spiritual atmosphere among the audience. Communists have carefully studied the notes, checking them with songs of Sig riflemen. Although nothing was found, the march was banned, while V. Hutsal had to resign and join another group. Zaporizhian March performance. Since 1984, the Zaporizhian March was allowed to be performed. It became to sound at rallies during the struggle for independence in the late 1980s. The sounds of the march assembled deputies in the Verkhovna Rada. Under S.T.Voran arrangement, it is also one of the main marches of the armed forces of Ukraine, named Cossack March. Zaporizhian March entered the repertoire of the National Orchestra of National Instruments.